Hello folks, Xilonen is an incredible support, just about as good as Kazuha, but much easier to use. She boosts the damage of your basic elements, Pyro, Hydro, Electro, and Cryo, the same elements that Kazuha can swirl and buff. And we usually call these 4 elements PHEC because that's also the swirl priority order, so that's what I'll be using. You can also play Xilonen as a DPS, but there are already plenty of strong options out there, so I will focus on her free-to-play support. Let's start with the reason why she's a good support. Her skill gives an AoE resist debuff that lasts for 15 seconds with very high uptime. The description is very long and wordy, but here's what it comes down to. To get the debuff, you need at least 2 party members with the PHEC element. It can be the same or different elements, doesn't matter. Now, when you use her E, you see empty triangles with those elements. Use 2 normal attacks to fill Xilonen's gauge after getting her first Ascension passive, and this will fill up those triangles and activate the debuff. Now all nearby enemies will have reduced resistance to the elements that match the triangles. Simple as that. Here's an example of the damage boost. My Xingqiu normally crits for 9500 with his E. If I activate Xilonen's buff, which gives up to 36% resistance shred at level 10, and now my Xingqiu crits for 13k. This increase does include the 4-piece hero set, but you're going to be using that set anyways. Her ultimate is much more simpler. It either gives healing over time or does extra damage. With 2+ PHEC, she will heal the on-field character for 12 seconds. If you have less than 2 PHECs in the party, then you'll lose the healing and do extra damage instead. So your rotation ends up being pretty simple. First, apply the element of your main DPS, then use Xilonen's E and 2 normal attacks. The E is to prep the debuff and the 2 normal attacks is to activate the debuff. Her E also catalyzes with the main DPS element and gives them the extra 40% elemental damage thanks to the 4-piece artifact. Then just continue the rest of your normal rotation. I added Zhongli's E here because Geo only takes half an element, so I will still have some Pyro left on the enemy for Xilonen to react with. Instead of Zhongli, you can run an Anemo unit with 4-piece Venera set and get even more resistance shred. That's the main part of Xilonen's rotation. Apply DPS element, swap to Xilonen to E and do 2 normal attacks, ult if you want healing, then swap back to your DPS. She's also one of the fastest climbers in the game. Kachina and Kirara climbs really slow, so it's nice to see faster vertical movement. And you can also swap to Xilonen while in the climbing animation, so that helps things a lot. In addition to having a strong kit, she is also very easy to gear. For support, you want 4-piece hero set. None of the other sets come close to 4-piece because of the extra 40% elemental damage this set gives. And here's a quick example of it in action. My Xingqiu has 66% Hydro damage normally. I catalyzed the Hydro with Xilonen, and now he has 106%. 40% more thanks to the 4-piece hero set. And the stat priority is also very easy. Defense increases Xilonen's personal damage and healing, so your priority is having enough ER to ult every rotation if you're gonna ult, and that's gonna end up being about 160% ER. Then stack defense the rest of the way. If you really need more healing because you are using Farina or something, then use a healing helmet. And if you are using Favonia's sword, then use a crit rate helmet. Otherwise, just go defense, defense, defense. And her weapons are pretty simple too. Obviously, the Peak Patrol is her best in slot, but that's a 5-star limited weapon. For free-to-play, her best choices are Favonia's sword or the craftable Flute of Easy. I personally like Favonia's more because of the extra energy particles for the team, and how easy it is for her to crit. Xilonen has 3 chances to spawn particles, once from her E, and another 2 times from her normal attacks, even more if you add in her ultimate. And for the teams, it is extremely flexible. Have a main DPS that can vaporize or melt, and a support that can apply the opposite element. Xilonen is also great for mono PHEC teams. Here are some examples of the various teams that work. The variety is nice and will definitely help out in the Spiral Abyss. Now you can run Kazuha on one side and Xilonen on the other. And that's a wrap. Thanks for watching to the end. Let me know how you are enjoying our new cat girl. And as always, have fun out there, traveler.